All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Joey just asked me, am I ready? And I said, does it really matter if I'm ready, right? We got to hop in the saddle no matter what today, Joey. All right, let's get to it. If you can hear me, if you can see me, put a VV in the comment section appropriately, please. I see the first comment, Vil. I in Awesomeville. That's a cool name. I like that. All right, we're taking a look at the views here. Pennywise made their way in. Does look like the viewership's making the way. All right, so it looks like it was set up correctly. So that's a good start to the week, right, Joey? Make sure the live stream is set up, good to go. Kara Blue says, hi, all. I can hear and see you. Perfect. Now, for those who have access to the VectorVest software, for those who are VectorVest subscribers, what's going on, Joey? Oh, okay. Sorry. We talked about it Friday on the daily color guard report. It was a little bit, I showed some optimism in the daily color guard report. I know Friday evening's video was on contra ETFs. The only reason why I really ran that is because I think 3 out of the 5 were Bitcoin related, and it still broke that trend line. So I do see a little bit of optimism, some of the Bitcoin, some of the crypto today. I'm just thinking that's generally market optimism as well. When something likes to break that trend line, what does it like to do? Retest it from the bottom end, right? So if you haven't placed your shorts on Bitcoin, and if you are a Bitcoin bear, look at that long-term chart. We'll take a look actually here in just a few. I do have it as one of the stories today. Ryan, is the new VectorVest software ready for use now? David Redwood, good question. Let me pin this one here. Pin that comment. Joey, do you have the link for the software? Do you have that correct link? If so, try to put it in the comment section. So if you're a current subscriber of VectorVest 7, you get the new software. Doesn't matter if you're end of day, real time, coaching group member, whatever it may be. But yeah, if you're a member of VectorVest 7, you already get it. If you're not a member to anything, if you're new to the VectorVest community, the new software is probably the route I would go. It's just much more streamlined, much easier, much more simple in nature, especially if you're new to investing. Now, if you've got some years of investing, if you're familiar with market analysis, hey, you can try out VectorVest 7. No problem. But that's it right there. MLP Market Launchpad. That is a trial there. Do you have the link for just the actual software for those current subscribers? Because David, if you are a current subscriber, I'm gonna see if Joey can put that link there in the comment section. But yeah, it's up. It's the very intro level. Doesn't have all the bells and whistles of VectorVest 7. But I was actually in a meeting, I think earlier this week, and they've already talked about the next level and how they want to integrate some of the other things into the program. So I'm looking forward to it. Especially, I like it just because you can literally access it on anything. It's web browser. It's web browser based, right? VectorVest 7, you got to have at least a Microsoft operating system. But yeah, it's quite phenomenal, and I like the charting. I do like the charting. There are some more capabilities, more, like I've said it, don't go down the rabbit hole technical analysis. As I've said it before, if you put too many indicators on your chart, you're probably convincing yourself to do something that you shouldn't be. But nonetheless, I do like the charting capabilities of the new software, the Market Launchpad. It's quite phenomenal as well. If you haven't tried it yet, if you're new to VectorVest community in general, Joey did just put the link in there for the trial, so definitely check that out. But again, look, I got the background here. I got the bull. I'm feeling bullish here. Am I saying back up the truck into the market and just start buying everything? No. If you've got access to the software, you know what I'm looking at in the color guard right now. What am I looking at? Who knows what's up today? Who wants to help out the people that are not part of the VectorVest family, or a subscriber? Even if you watch it, you're definitely still part of the family. But if you want to help them out, let them know what just went up today in the color guard. If you're not a subscriber, take out that trial. So I'm telling you right now, especially coming off these lows with that MTI and BSR, there's a few times of the year where I'll say that trial is probably a little bit more worthy or jumping into VectorVest a little bit more worthy than others, and now would be that time. So I am seeing optimism. We're seeing optimism right there. I'm going to show you where the head fakes might be. That's it right there. Primary wave is up. We're leaving that predominance of red lights behind. It was a sea of red lights last week, right? Friday, yellow lights across the board. Today, yellow lights across the board, right? And Joey, if you'll move us into the full range software, I'll show you the market timing gauge right now. We are directly into the yellow, the barometer. It's caution right now, right? If you're buying the dip, tiptoe, make smart choices, right? Primary wave just turned up. I talked about that. You know me, I'm trying to be optimistic going into the holidays. We're all trying to make a couple extra bucks, get some presents, right? The presents aren't getting any cheaper, that's for sure. So we got to make that money, and hopefully Santa comes and delivers. Now, we don't want to fall for any bull traps. So I'm going to show you exactly where the bull trap is. Actually, I'll just do that real quick. I like to keep it pretty simple. Right now, I'm looking at the Qs. We're not going to take a look at the VectorVest composite today. We'll save that for Wednesday on afternoon market action. But look at the trend line here, right? So if you bought Friday, if you bought on the dip Thursday on the NVIDIA sell-off after earnings, hey, the market is up from there, at least the Qs here, right? Generally speaking, the market is up as well. But look at the trend line, right? We're getting close, but we still got a little bit more room, right? If we hit that trend line and we see a big upper wick shortly follow suit, hey, don't fall for that trick, right? Now, if we get some, the confirmation, and really, if you look at the color guard and the progression of the color guard, we could get the potential of a green light come Wednesday, right? So that would give us room for the NASDAQ to get above this downward trend line. If we get a green line and the Qs just broke that downward trend line, that's the optimism I like to see, especially if you're maybe more aggressive, maybe more of a trader, right? Now, if you're more conservative, if you're not more of a trader, wait for something like the DEW, the confirm call, right? And if you're not disciplined, wait for more confirmation in general as well. But I do see some optimism here. We still got a little bit of room for the bulls before we get any kind of, resistance, I should say, right? So just keep that in mind. So I want to say, everybody stay disciplined, right? Everyone needs to stay disciplined. Let's go back over here to the homepage. I bought CLS. It bought me some gifts money. That's what's up. I know the Micron buyers. I was mad. I said it, Wednesday or Thursday? If it goes sub 200, I'm telling Mom buy some more. But she was traveling back to Colorado, so I don't want to bug her. Hey, I'm not jumping in it today with her. It's like Squid Game's green light, right? Green light, red light. Hey, that's actually really good. And maybe, Joey, we should snag a scene from Squid Games. That green light, red light. I mean, obviously, we got to keep it PG because Squid Games gets pretty crazy. But we might be able to, maybe make a good short. I miss making fun shorts. I miss doing that. I have to get some good shorts out here soon. All right, Micron still has a lot of gas left in the tank. Pennywise, I'm not going to disagree. With that. Tonight's video, I'm still putting in the works. Haven't recorded it quite yet. Me and Joey worked on some mic issues earlier. I'm taking a look at tech stocks. Micron's in the list. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily the focus, but it's undervalued semiconductors. So if you're maybe more, say you are more conservative in nature, but you want to take advantage of, possibly some bottom fishing, right? Hey, start with big undervalued companies, right? That's probably the most conservative type of bottom fishing, right? At least as far as the type of stocks, right? Those bigger name companies, right? Now, as far as the timing, you want to wait for that DEW or that confirmed call, right? The primary wave, one green light, that's definitely going to be on the more aggressive side of trading, is what it is. Google is over the $300 mark and is pushing higher. Hey, that undervalued Google play, that was beautiful, right? I'm looking at Micron the same way. There's another stock, actually, that's very similar to the Google play, at least chart-wise. It's going to be AMAT, Applied Materials, right? It was undervalued, creep back up there, but now it's kind of fairly valued. I still like AMAT. I still like it. Actually, I think it might be in tonight's video as well. I'm holding MU, Google, glad I held. The big companies like that, the bigger, safer companies, especially if you're more of an investor on these little volatilities, these little pullbacks in here, yeah, it's usually time to buy some more, right? I wish I had bought Google. Hey, It is what it is with Google, right? We can find the next trade. We'll find the next trade. All right, let's get into it this week because there are a couple things I want to cover as far as this week, especially if you plan on trading and buying options, things of that nature. As far as options, I will say, especially if you're trading shorter decays or shorter expirations, the decay is going to be a little bit quicker, right? Because the market's closed Thursday. It's half a day Friday, so I want to keep that on your radar. Earnings. We're going to talk about some earnings, right? The Mag 7, the big names, those pretty much those days are behind us here, but we still got some, some important names here. We got Allegiant, Symbotic here, Zoom, Simtech. If I go to the second one here, nope, it was Tuesday, I think it was. All right, Tuesday we got Alibaba. Actually, just reports before the bell. Analog Devices reports before the bell. Dell after the bell. Workday, Autodesk. So we got HP here as well. NetApp. I think it was this one here. Yep, this is what it was. So if you're doing the retail stores, I know the department store has been pretty hot going to the holidays. We got Best Buy, Dick's Sporting Goods. That's going to be before the bell come Tuesday as well. We got Neo. Urban Outfitters, again, another retail company here. Wednesday, we got Deere, another EV. We got Lee Auto, Cheetah Mobile in the list here. Marco Bank. So quite a few. So not like huge, big names, big market names, but some. So I did create a list here. So if you are holding some of these stocks, we're going to, briefly cover those. And we might find some opportunities, right? That's why I like doing these earning stocks because it gives us a chance to look at some stocks we may not typically. And hey, if we find some undervalued babies, some high RV, some high growth rates, we might find some fish along the way. So that's why I kind of do the earnings as well. Keep you updated with the earnings. STRL have any gas left? Nice. Pennywise, look at that. Thank you, Pennywise. I appreciate that. I love your picture of the clown. Please check out GILD. It's one of my healthcare positions. All right, let's jump right over to it. GILD. Let's get rid of Qs. Again, Qs still making its way up to that trend line. So again, if you're a short-term trader, hey, I'm still going to be bullish right now. We're talking about spider shares. Yeah, this is the one I usually have that trend line. There's the trend line right there. Oh, GILD. Sorry. Gilead Sciences. Apologize about that. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a semiconductor. It's not a Google, but look what that baby is doing. It's undervalued, chasing value. Look at value rising, price rising. You can see I've looked at it before here. Nice little level of resistance. You can see from the upper wick. Let's zoom into 6 months. See what we got here. Broke above it, rejection, came back, rejection, kind of piddling around. Actually broke above it this time. Support, nice pivot off of here, honestly. The next good little pivot. Yeah. I like this play, Pennywise. I don't know why you're paying me $4.99. People watching this should pay you $4.99. That's a good stock right there. Look at the earnings per share, too. RT relative timing. It's not 1.7. It's not 1.8, so you didn't miss it all. Look at it. What is it? 1.19. Just crossed not long ago. Look at that. RT relative timing. Look at the price chart, too. Just lower left, upper right. The stop price moving in the same manner. So a nice, steady stair-step fashion on a trailing stop there. Essentially a trailing stop. Adjusted for the company's fundamentals. Let's see here. Look at this value, undervalued. This is nice. I'm up 31% on Gilead. I like it. ASML is going to be in the video tonight, Rockstar. I'm pretty sure that's almost came in the list, but it's all those type of stocks. I do like ASML, a little overvalued in the VectorVest 7 software. I like the undervalued tech, especially when they're talking about AI bubbles and stuff like that. I want to get in the stocks. I ain't got to worry about that with, right? Gilead Science, because, hey, if the market misprices my undervalued stock, I might just buy some more. Gilead Science, this is beautiful. Drug company is well-known name, rising earnings per share. But yeah, Pennywise, you did us a favor. You did VV Nation a favor by telling about this stock. All right. I like this. I like this one. All right. Let's jump back over to the stories real quick. But that's phenomenal. As long as it definitely stays above here, but really as long as it stays above 124, we take out that high. But yeah, I like the trade setup. Nice pivot off of this. Really nice. Thank you for that. All right, as far as earnings, Wednesday, this is before Thanksgiving here. We got Deere and Company, Lee Auto, Cheetah Mobile. Thursday, it's Thanksgiving. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving, by the way. But all that's been marked off. Friday, not a whole lot going on Friday, right? Most of us can be Black Friday shopping. So economic calendar brings us this week, right? Monday, nothing. Tomorrow, look at this. Inflation data. PPI data. And I find this interesting, right? Because think about it. If the Qs keep running, and if they get up there tomorrow, it's going to be right at that trend line. I want a good inflation report. I need a good inflation report. I feel like the market needs a good inflation report. And as well, this inflation report, yes, the delayed September 25. This is the delayed right here. Should be released tomorrow, November 25th at 8:30 in the morning. So I know the government shut down, so I just wanted to put that out there. So that is the delayed report here. Wednesday, initial jobless claims, right? That'll be important to watch out for. Thursday, Thanksgiving holiday. Friday, and we've got the Chicago Business Barometer. I don't think that's going to really affect the market too much. Other than that, stock market hours. Thursday, it's closed. No surprise. Friday closes early, 1 p.m. So 1 p.m. closes early Friday. Thursday is closed. As I said, just, if you're trading options and you're thinking you're getting a really good deal, just remember it might be a couple of days short on those short-term expirations, or day and a half short. All right, let's see here. Other than that, let's get right into it. Novo Nordisk having a rough day in the market. Santa did not come to the drug maker. Novo Nordisk, you can see that article right behind me. Shares plunged to 4-year low after Alzheimer's drug trial fails to hit key target. Oof. Does VectorVest have a training on options? Yes, we actually have an options group coaching platform with Ron Wheeler. He's just not just trade options, he's designed option platforms before. So he's very familiar. As well, courses, Joey, the Black Friday sale, good time for Black Friday, right? If you want to, maybe not even for yourself, for someone else. I keep trying to beg my mom to do the options paycheck course because that's money being thrown away if you're not, learning covered calls. I'll be honest there. But we've got a course. It's VectorVest.com, sale. VectorVest.com/sale. I believe most of the courses, they're up to like 70% off. Other than now and like Tampa, potentially, it's going to be the best pricing all year round. Be the best pricing all year round. The 99-cent trial is back for the holidays. So again, if that PSR and MTI, down that low, we'll see what kind of, we can get a nice little rally. Really, that confirmation, I want to see that green light before I get too excited talking about the rally on Wednesday. But Novo Nordisk here taking a big hit. Analysts had prior to the results called a trial a long shot, whereas Novo itself had referred as a lottery ticket. So I don't see why that should be that surprise. The company stock, though, 4-year low. The trial tested whether I'm not even trying to pronounce that one. The active ingredient in Novo's blockbuster diabetes and weight loss drugs, Ozempic and Wegovy, helped slow progression for Alzheimer's disease. Interesting. So they're going to make some more money off those active ingredients. That would have been huge for the company, but not doing it. So you see the stock down 10% based off the news. Let's see here. Drug-related biomarkers in 2 separate trials. This did not translate into a delay of disease progression. The goal had been to slow patients' cognitive decline by 20%. So this is on the Alzheimer's. But it's interesting that the active ingredients that they were trying to utilize for this drug, its original purpose here was diabetes, right? And weight loss drugs, Ozempic and Wegovy. Interesting story. We'll take a look at it. Stock's down today. If you're holding it, stay disciplined. Don't be a bag holder. Don't want to be a bag holder. All right. This was a big one here. We had the International Conference for High Performance Computing, Network, Storage, and Analysis. It was in St. Louis, Missouri here. We do have some analysts. A lot of good stocks are mentioned here, right? So we're going to talk about it. I know a lot of people want to talk about this. You see Micron there already. I've talked about it before, right? High demand for memory, right? GPUs are still important. I'm not going to say that GPUs are not important, but memory chips, right? DRAMs, things of that nature. And look at this, supply deficit, right? Memory remains tight. Those are the type of words I want to hear when talking about a stock I own, right? This is the market, tight, right? The demand for these is astronomical. Price increases have been abrupt, often in double digits, and sometimes coming multiple times over the past month. Interesting. All right, a lot of the stocks mentioned here, we had Micron Technology hold the top market share among DRAM producers. All about DRAM. Samsung, Micron. That's why they want to build this massive $100 billion, well, not one fab plant, it's a series of fab plants in central New York over the next, decade or two, right? It is phenomenal. It's a powerhouse stock. I know a lot of people like the Intel for the domestic, chip play kind of thing. I like Micron more than Intel because Intel's only gone up because of deals with other companies, right? Micron's going up for things that they're doing themselves. Another thing that was mentioned in this conference, though, look at this. Currently under development from companies like IBM, D-Wave, IonQ, Qubit. What are we talking about? Quantum computing remains in focus, right? We would point out the seemingly growing, this is interesting though, which makes sense, for research, for the beginning of new technologies, you're thinking large labs, universities, right? We would point out the seemingly growing commercial interest in quantum computing. That's where the money's from, right? If you look at all those quantum stocks, Glenn and I have said it. They're all overvalued. They're very speculative, right? Very forward-thinking technology. And yes, they do have the potential to change the world, and that value definitely has the potential to rise in the future. But you got to manage the premiums right now with these quantum stocks. And they're up today, so we're going to take a look at them. If we do get a Santa rally, imagine the quantum's going to rally. This is when we discovered it, or not me, but this is when Glenn first came across quantum stocks. I think it was like right around this time last year. And those stocks have gone up, some of them over 1,000%, depending on the day. So kudos to Glenn for that. I'm going to give Glenn a big ooh-wee, by the way. I did see a photo of Glenn. Everyone asked about Glenn. I did see a photo of him over the weekend. He was put on a show for his church. I gave him a shout out to that. Texted him and his wife. That was awesome to see him do that. Let's see here. But yeah, AMD, NVIDIA, no surprise, they're obviously going to be mentioned there, right? What does it say? However, there are several new U.S. Department of Energy projects featuring AMD and NVIDIA-based systems currently underdeveloped. This should change next year. Interesting. List of best performing supercomputers in the world. This list featured 45 new entrants, but interestingly, none of them cracking the existing top 10. However, the several new. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to the top supercomputers in the world, AMD and NVIDIA usually are mentioned there. Obviously, NVIDIA is going to be mentioned, right? No surprise there. But look of the new systems to make the list, AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA were featured the most. This is interesting in a bearish case for ARM. ARM accounted for only 10% of new processors, right? I got to dig back into ARM. ARM was a great trade a while ago. If you're still holding it, it's really just more of a swing trading stock now, recently. I want to dig into ARM, but that's not good though, because their ARM architecture was giving Intel and AMD's x86 a run for their money. What's your take on shorting NVIDIA? I'll put it like this. Palantir made sense to me, especially it broke the ascending channel just from a chart perspective along, with valuation concerns. Yeah, NVIDIA, it's hard to wrap my mind around shorting NVIDIA. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's how I want to try and make my money. That's, why short NVIDIA? Why not, if there is an AI bubble, pick a more speculative stock, right? More overvalued company. And if NVIDIA falls apart, whatever, well, that other company's definitely going to fall apart, right? So, no, I wouldn't see And yeah, I don't see the Nvidia one. I saw the pics of Glenn. Ooh wee, there we go, John. Ooh wee, yes. All right, but I got these in a watch list. So we're gonna take a look at them because I know a lot of people want to buy the dips on some of these stocks. So we're gonna mention that. Bitcoin, Friday's video, contra ETFs. Again, not gonna be a fan of index ETFs. I want a different route to see what VectorVest could give us for some contras. 3 out of the 5 were Bitcoin. Makes sense, breaking the trend line, right? Hey, if you're a Bitcoin bear and you want to be a bear on Bitcoin, hey, is what it is. But look, we got to pivot. We're going up. So what am I naturally going to say, right? Obviously, don't place a contra today on Bitcoin. Probably not smart, especially if the market continues to rally. But if we get up closer to this trend line here, we get some rejection. This might just be the setup for a Bitcoin bearish play, right? That might just be the setup for Bitcoin bearish play, right? And if you're Bitcoin bull, obviously we want price action get above this trend line sooner than later, right? Or some consolidation. I will say if Bitcoin does start to channel to the side, I would probably look about 108 to the top. Realistically, I would probably see resistance coming in, especially by the time this line gets up here, probably 96 to 100,000. That's kind of where I see that bearish pivot maybe taking place if Bitcoin continues to rally and catches up to this trend line here. We'll see, right? So we could get a little rally in the meantime for Bitcoin, 87, get it up a couple grand. But see if we get the rejection there, because that would be interesting. That could actually be a good setup trade, right? Buy the index, you can't go wrong. Bitcoin to 150. Overall, Jazz, you guys know how I feel about crypto. Overall, I'm going to be bullish on Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin decided to take a breather because it broke this trend line, I'd probably look at around 108, 109 potentially. If it did break above this here, this 96 to 100,000 to be the top of that channel. Bottom of this channel is that swing low, probably around 75, right? So if you really want to get Bitcoin on the dip, I mean, personally, you can see that trend line there. Then this was a nice pivot here. This was beautiful, beautiful pivot here. This one here, this low, we're just catching up consolidation. But yeah, look for the bull trap. Look for rejection here on this trend line from the bottom, right? We'll see what happens. All right, let's get back into the software here. I just want to give you a follow-up on the Bitcoin. All right, let's go to the viewers tab here. All right, as far as news picks, they're all up today. Look at Novo Nordisk, down 6%. All the tech that was mentioned in the conference over the weekend. AMD up 5%. Micron up 7%. SanDisk up 12%. Ooh, this is why I would like to focus on, right? If you're more conservative, you're thinking about buying it. Look at NVIDIA, undervalued. All of these, because I did value divided by price, it's from SanDisk up is undervalued. Ignore Novo Nordisk. Clearly, I'm not going to advocate catching a falling knife, right? Hit a new 4-year low, down 6%, bad drug trial news. So stay disciplined on that one. These other ones, you can see the, look at the Quantum, way overvalued. Way overvalued. ARM, way overvalued. That's been my concern for ARM. Quantum, overvalued. Even IBM, overvalued. AMD, after the ChatGPT deal, overvalued, right? This is where I would put more of my focus. The Micron, the NVIDIA, and the SanDisk Corp. Let's take a list. It's got great forecasted data, so let's jump in the charts here. Buy the index, you can't go wrong. I go back to into IBIT and start a position into Bitcoin. I mean, and that's the other. You got to ask how you're trading Bitcoin. Are you trading? Are you dollar cost averaging each month? Right. I mean, personally, if I was a dollar cost averager and the price is under 90,000, I might tip it up a little bit. But be careful, because if we get up there to that trend line and get big rejection, I mean, me personally, I could see 70 something thousand in the works if that happened, right? But we'll see what happens. But like I've said before, the best time usually buying Bitcoin is when people call it crypto, right? And it's gotten pretty close to crypto territory if you look at the headlines. Novo Nordisk, clear short candidate. I mean, this is why would I buy it? And look at the value, right? It would be different if it was undervalued and value is maybe rising or staying still, but value is declining right along with price action. Earnings is declining. No, stay disciplined. Don't like that. Micron, look at that little pivot right at the 200. Clearly, you had a little line there. Oh, man. Well, I'm just glad mom got to Colorado safely. For those who bought Micron sub 200 on Friday, I'm happy for you. I can't be mad at that one. Value take a little pullback here, but we've seen that before in value. Now, value really starts to roll over. Yes, then I would be more concerned. But earnings per share is rising. RT above 1. The trend's not the issue right now. It's a good stock. I like it. You know, and this little breather it just had, this little pivot, and you see, look at our stop price. The power of the VectorVest 7 solid. The stop price keeps you in right there on the Micron trade. Still got a buy rating. Kara says, I got MU just under 200. I like that because Micron under 200. Let's just see what the market cap here. Let's just see. I like a good bagger, but I like a good bagger that makes sense, right? And if you want a bagger that makes sense, you need market cap. It's 251 billion currently. I could see Micron being $500 billion at some point in market cap. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, especially if we give it a couple years, right? I must say I back up the truck on MU Friday before the close. Hey, if you backed up the truck on Micron, I mean, I know you're probably pretty happy right now, right? You could always put some insurance. Yeah, I see Micron pivoted up. You know, look at the next level resistance. You do a cover call on it, something like that. We'll see. But I still like it a lot. Why HCA, THC up a lot today? What are those stocks? Oh, Tenet. I like that chart. Whether it's up today, look at the news. But look, value's rising, price rising. Someone thank them. That's a good stock. Earnings per share is rising. Healthcare's a bit hot too. If you haven't noticed, I think there's definitely some industry rotation coming out of the AI, the tech going into healthcare. This stock's been on a tear lately. See what the other one is, THC Healthcare Corp. A little bit more volatile, but same premise here. Undervalued, value rising. Normally, I don't take random stocks in the comment section, but again, if you need to diversify out of the tech space, if you're just way too heavy on tech, these two stocks here don't look that pretty. Look pretty. Do a little bit of research on them though. Those are not bad. All right, let's go back to Micron here. Micron looks good. Nice pivot for all those that got the sub 200 Friday morning. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. All right, NVIDIA. Hey, I've said it before. This little line here. Well, I don't even call this support. Two support zones. But as long as it stays above 171, hey, I'm here. And look at the stop price, 172. So VectorVest is giving you $1 more wiggle room than I am before a sell, right? So overall, I like what look. Oh man, look at the valuation. Those numbers. You talk about the market mispricing stocks, and every time I say that, it's a quote from Warren Buffett. I gotta learn from the greats too. Dr. Alito, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said that when the market can misprice stocks, right? Misprice a stock, especially in times of turmoil. Well, VectorVest and Dr. Alito gave us the power of this valuation here. Look at this. Price going down, value going up. I'm a believer in NVIDIA. Value's now at what? 219? It's hard. I mean, this is a great core position in a portfolio. RT is below 1. It's 0.97. So take that as a little, as some warning, because you can see what happened before last time. RT went below 1, showed weakness. But overall, still a great stock. Market cap, it's going to be heading to 5 trillion, looks like. EdP looks good. A market surge, another health-related stock. Okay. So, yeah, in healthcare, maybe I should do some healthcare stocks. I don't know. We'll see. Drug stock, health, it's just not something I specialize in, but, we definitely use VectorVest software to see what's good out there. SanDisk, this is beautiful. Undervalued, going nowhere, a lot of consolidation, all that pent-up momentum released. And look at this pivot here. Full body candlestick today. The stock's still undervalued. That's lower left, upper right. That's not a bad looking stock there. Look at this jump in value. Earnings per share as well, rising. We'll get rid of market cap. I like that. That's not a bad stock. AMD, it broke its ascending channel. Well, it's been kind of breaking it lately, obviously. But this line here, out at 202. Look, that's where I guess a lot of people thought they were getting a good deal on AMD. And from a technical perspective, yes. And from a value perspective, it wasn't far from our valuation. Our valuation is around 180. So, getting fairly valued there. Let's see if we could break 214, but I still like AMD overall. I'm more on the Micron train right now. Do you think AMD will fill the gap? It did enter that gap. But as soon as it entered it, you notice, that's actually why I put the line here. What's for the gap fill? The buyers came in right away, right? So we'll find out. I have a feeling if this is a bull trap scenario and if the Qs go up to that trend line and, especially that inflation report, if that's bad tomorrow, we could definitely, filling that gap is not out of the realm of possibility. But, if I had to guess, just going forward, if I just put this line a little bit forward here, I actually grabbed the wrong line. If I move that up, those are actually coming right at the right spot here. So I got a 3-month time span. About 222, 223 on AMD. Look for a wick there. That's where I'm looking for resistance. All right. If we break that, that's the confirmation I would need on AMD. Right. But look for rejection there, just in case. IBM, lower left, upper right. Nice stock, just overvalued compared to some of these other stocks. It's my only qualm with IBM. I mean, do you want the AI darling NVIDIA, which is currently undervalued, or do I want to pay a premium for something like IBM? That question should just answer itself. Broadcom versus Micron. What is your pick? Broadcom. Or sorry, not Broadcom. Micron. Definitely didn't mean Broadcom. Micron over Broadcom. Let's see here. Let's go to the next stock. All right, here we've got Qubit holding right at my level of support here. You see it's a zone really at around 865, 760. And I made some remarks last week and I think the week before too, where the quantum stocks, really pulling back. Look at these values starting to jump up a little bit, right? Value $4. It was under 10. That's not, it's twice our value. I've seen crazier for a quantum stock. It's not bad. This is one of the leaders too. It's a sell recommendation. So this is not for the faint of heart. I mean, I could put up RV and RS, but I can tell you these are not going to be good ratings, right? They're not. So stick to technicals. Don't stick to the hype. Ryan, just saying Meta moving upward. Meta's got a little probe, social media probe I saw, something like that. I'm not a fan of ONDS. I prefer Katos, AVAV, and Red Cat, Pennywise says. Ooh, interesting. Bunch of drones and robotic stocks. All right, but Qubit, I like this pivot. I like this swing low is higher than the prior swing low. This might shape up into something here. Here's ARM, just a bottom wick, got full body candlestick, sell rating. This resistance, this 152 here, has really been a problem for ARM. And look at the valuation. I was a big fan of ARM. Unless you're swing trading, because it is a fun stock to swing trade. It's really not that hard. You can see, the swings are pretty simplistic, just historically speaking here. But the value, it's actually on the decline. So no, I'm going to say as far as ARM, as far as an investment, I'm not seeing it here with ARM anymore. And I know that I've been doing this for 2 years now in the YouTube world, and ARM was one of the first stocks that I really talked about. I'd say within the first maybe 6 months, it was around $40-$50 shortly after IPO. I think it was broke a trend line, descending channel or something. It shot up, but it's just kind of fizzled out. You see over the last year, even if I extend it out, it's probably hasn't done a whole lot still. Yep, see, it hasn't done much of anything. So all that premium is baked in, and I'm just waiting for the value to catch up, and it's just not really catching up. So I'm going to leave ARM just, really just technical trades. No more investing potential right now. But we'll see. And of course, as soon as I say that, the thing will rocket to the next level, right? Right, I could see that happening. News was they fired PM Board of Directions. Just turned in. Price would be green if not for the 5-day rule. Yes, Bill. Primary wave is up. Bill, do you want to do the people a favor who are not subscribers to the VectorVest software and tell them what we could potentially have Wednesday? What could we potentially have Wednesday, Bill? And yes, that is your cue. If you are not, for 99 cents, you get access for the next 30 days of VectorVest. I'm telling you right now, I can't be here the whole time. I only got a couple live streams and some 6 p.m. videos. If you want these indicators on your side 24/7, 99 cents first 30 days. And, as long as we get that green light Wednesday, I think this, and we break that trend line in the cues that we were pointing out, I think this might be the rally I've been waiting for. But, and don't back up that truck yet. I know someone already commented they backed it up on Micron, which probably can't be that mad at, especially when they said sub 200. I was jealous I didn't get my mom in there at sub 200. Santa is coming Wednesday. Well, I said if we get that green light Wednesday, that would really give me the concept. But we only got the primary wave up. And we only got like 2 days of positive sentiment in the market, Friday and today, right? So that's it. If you're jumping in, you think, the Santa rally's here, we're going to sing Kumbaya to Christmas. That's a very speculative way of thinking. And you should realize that right now, right? So the tiptoe approach, right? We get the primary wave today, hopefully. It looks like we'll probably close out with that. Wednesday, we'll progress, hopefully a green light. And then maybe by later in the week, we get a DW up signal. We'll see. I've backed up the truck on CLSC. Hey, as long as you're comfortable with that, as long as you were disciplined. Everyone has their own strategy, right? VectorVest, we just try to put you on the right side of the market. But, taking advantage of discounts on stocks from the MTIs and the 0.6s, the BSRs and the 0.2s, great high VST, undervalued positions. I get wanting to take advantage of some of those stocks. It's a Black Friday sale, right? Just like why most of us are going to go out, or if not already shopping online and whatnot. We want those deals, just like the stocks. It's no difference, right? And we want someone to pay for that stock higher than we bought it for somewhere down the road, right? That's the goal. It's no harder than that. It is no harder than that. IONQ, I'm just going to say what became a nice level of support is now resistance. So be careful in IONQ. And it's a little bit more stretch from our valuation, right? Value's at 6, trading at 44. So just from a valuation perspective, I will say that Qubit, close to $10, which would have just been about double our value, would have been a little bit more attractive. Because Quantum, you're going to pay premium for Quantum. You could see. Good luck trying not to pay premium for Quantum. Here's D-Wave. Look, there's the premium. You see the green line, the valuation. Valuations, 242. This is way overvalued, right? This is going to be more speculative. Earnings per share is negative. It's starting to climb in the right direction. Kind of didn't go so well the first 9 months out of that chart. But overall, it's still going to be a speculative trade. Sell ratings in place. Be careful. Let's maybe get above our stop price to become a hold. Otherwise, you're just catching a falling knife right now, Qubits. So be careful of that. All right, let's get out of these. These are the news. Let's go to the earnings, see if there's some good fish with these earnings. It is 12:43, so we're going to get your picks here in just a moment. So hit that like button because we are going to go off every 10 likes. Going to get a stock. All right, so let's just graph these. The momentum is there for these stocks. The only one that's down 9%, NAM, looks like a minerals company here. And then we got Urban Outfitters down 2.6. So let's graph these. See if there's any good potential here. Workday. What I like about this, it's a software company, but look at the valuation. You might be getting a good deal here. Look at the value, 285 or 227. Just be careful. RT is below 1 overall, not trending the way we want. Could be but you are getting a bargain valuation. You could look at things like growth rate, sales growth rate, make sure those things are climbing. But just taking a look at the forecast of earnings per share, it is going in the right direction. Actually, let's add growth rate. earnings, because this is the earnings list. 44%. Look at this, Momentum Holdings. This stock might just have a lot of built up momentum. I mean, it has just added to our database, and really just channeled to the side. Valuation has climbed. Earnings per share, growth rate might not be a bad stock. And if you really want to see some momentum, let's just at least take out the high, because this thing's been channeling like crazy. So what was that, 2650? Let's get a little bit more confirmation. Let's just say 27. Pick us up to 27. This thing might just be worth putting on your radar. Here's Urban Outfitters, values declining, prices declining, negative. Analog Devices, clearly we've looked at this before, it's just channeling, still in the channel, right? So I don't want to jump in this channel that ranges from 209. It's a $40 channel. Over the last 6 months, the stock has done nothing. Over the last year, the stock's done nothing. No, let's just let value catch up, because it seems like the stock's going to do nothing until it becomes fairly valued. Then maybe it will do something. Here is this is interesting. Agilent Technologies. Price action. Even though it's overvalued, I like the fact that value is rising with price action. Got a nice body on the candlestick. We've got nice buy ratings, rising earnings, growth rate, 6%. Hey, it's not a phenomenal number, but I do like it. It's positive. Ryan, are you buying any UAMY? I got to look at UAMY. It's, like I said last week, I want to get it closer to our value. I've waited this long on UAMY. Ryan, can you guys add ISME to the VectorVest system? It's a software, cybersecurity, and defense company. Yes. Let me write that one down. Well, before I say yes, I can send it to them and see. But most likely we can. All right. NetApp. This doesn't look bad. Honestly, look at it. Breakthrough. Let's break above this pivot. If not, we could get caught back in the channel. The pivot's around 110.50. I'm going to say 112 just so we get clear out of this channel. The stock's undervalued. Could be getting a deal. Dell, look at this. Value's rising, price is rising, but look at this big sale. This could create some value opportunities here. Sell recommendation in place. And let's see where that line is. Where did it stop? Right there. Ooh, that doesn't look like a half bad level support. I'm not going to lie. But again, all of what we're saying right now is catching falling knives, right? Really want some confirmation, get that green light on Wednesday. Let's get at least price above the stop price. Maybe RT even above 1. But not a bad looking bottom fishing stock, right? I like that undervalued nature. I like Dell over SMCI too. I think it's just the less dramatic pick. I think if SMCI didn't have all that drama with the accounting irregularities or whatever they call it, coined the term, I think it would just be trading a lot better. You know, we've talked about it a few times, and a lot of people, especially Amir, if you're watching, has talked about it. It's definitely showed some trading opportunities. I'm not gonna say it's a bad pick. Yeah, look, Dell even pays a dividend. I'd probably say I'd like Dell too over it. I think it's just be the less headache of the two. I think it'd be the less headache. Even though I think SMCI at the end of the day, as long as those irregularities don't come back, you're probably gonna make some money with it in the long run. But I think Dell would just be the less headache. All right, here's Cheetah Mobile. Cheetah Mobile. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but they got their phone service is so cheap. Look at the value of this company. Look, they reported today, or I think was it today? Man, I'll have to look back at the earnings thing. But look at the value. We value this stock $9.87, coming at $7.53. Earnings per share has been not very good, but starting to turn around. Look at the growth rate in earnings, 22%. This might just be a fishy fish. You saw resistance. Look at this. Resistance, rejection, rejection, rejection. Oh, that was a nice little trade set up there. Perfect. Reject. That's actually been a nice bearish trade. With the point break right below this resistance level. Interesting. But look, we broke above it, and look, this is the first pivot off of this, and look at that follow through from the pivot. Honest, I like this Cheetah Mobile. I'm not gonna lie. VectorVest brokerage would be wonderful. VectorVest brokerage would be amazing, but I can only imagine trying to turn the software company into a full-fledged brokerage. It's probably a lot of red tape, logistics. Who knows all what would have to go involved with that. I wouldn't be surprised if they've looked at that before. I would not be surprised. But yeah, Cheetah Mobile, that looks good. That looks really good. I like it. I like that actually. Here's ADSK. Values rising. It was just trading at a premium. The value opportunities are in. Not as exciting as Cheetah. Deere and Company doing nothing, and it's overvalued. Dick's values declining, prices flat to declining. No. Alibaba doesn't look bad, just paying a premium for it, and it's a Chinese company, so it is gappy in nature. So I think no, way too many good undervalued tech companies out there for me to be worried about Alibaba. Zoom Video, not saying Alibaba is something to sleep on, but just that chart and the fact that it's overvalued. Zoom Video, look at this. Actually, values rise. I think my mom owns some Zoom. And look, this looks like just a simple trend line pivot. Am I right? Is it close? It's kind of close. You see the pivot coming off the trend line there. Undervalued. Earnings is rising. Growth rate earnings is shrinking, though, 16%. Let's zoom this out a little bit. Not bad. Not bad. Best Buy. Best Buy. Look at the intangentness of our valuation. I mean, it trades very similar to our value. That's kind of odd, actually. See here, 5-year. Oof. No. It's hard for me to get excited about big box retailers when that's just not how I shop or how most people shop these days. Their online presence and their integration into existing ecosystems. If Best Buy could, more integrate into, existing ecosystems like a Netflix or an Amazon or a Facebook even, right? I don't think I've ever even seen a Best Buy ad on my Facebook. Well, now that I've said Best Buy and my phone's right here, I'll probably get one. Who bets I get a Best Buy ad on my Best Buy said, I'll show you, Ryan. Or Facebook will say, I'll show you, Ryan. I'll put a Best Buy ad there for you in no time, sir. But it's hard for me to want to get into a big box retailer that's overvalued. Yeah, if it was undervalued, I might get a little excited. But the only thing I've said about this is leading into the holidays. Ever since it popped up as one of the top RT industries, the department stores, we are seeing momentum. And for this one here, you can see the pivot right off the trend line here. It's not a very hard trade setup occurring. You can see the pivot, boop. 1, 2, 3. So we'll see. As long as it stays above that trend line, might be some money for the holidays. This one here, this is custom mate. The value on astronomical earnings per share growth rate doesn't look half bad. The timing of this position, just not good. But I like everything else I see. That's rough. Let's get RT above 1 on that one. Hyatt Hotels, way overvalued. Earnings per share, not a stair-step fashion, and growth rate is declining. It's actually -6 right now. Oof. Rod says, yes, you will. Same. I know someone who made a lot of money from Baba, but I'm kind of skeptical. Maybe back in the day, but it looks like all the premium was baked in whenever it had its big move. And some stocks that happens too. All the premium gets baked in, and that's kind of what's been my fear with Palantir lately. That's just kind of my 2 cents on Palantir. I know I might get some flack for that, but it is what it is. Baba is king of AI. On the Chinese side, yes, it is one of the tops. That is for sure. Symbiotic here, or Symbiotic. This was one of those, robotic plays. Clearly broke its trend line. You can see if you just drew a little trend line here. Clearly broke it. There's a retest. I'll tell you right now, I got a line here, 47. And you can see that's where it found it apparently just a few days ago on that wick, the bottom wick there. That was a buying opportunity. So as long as it stays above 47, hey, you might have a nice little Santa rally yourself here. But it's overvalued. It's a robotics company. A lot of the premiums being baked in. Earnings per share is moving in the right direction, but the growth rate of that earnings not moving in the right direction. Here's NAM. This is a gold and silver company. It IPO'd or whatever. Got introduced to our database. Way overvalued. The value opportunities are in, but no. Earnings per share turned around. I'd have to see, some life in the technicals before getting excited about this position, or even that value maybe start to tick up. It jumped up and then kind of faded away. So we'll see, but not there with it. Kendi, no. Alar, not quite. Might get some value opportunities. Neo broke its trend line. Now it's just in this channel. Not quite there. Lee, way overvalued. Earnings are starting to fall. Growth rate earnings has been falling for the last year. No. Platinum Group Metals, just trades at a premium. It's my only concern here. But now it's not the time. According to RT relative timing, sell rating and plays, growth rate, only at 2%. I can't get that excited about that one. All right, we got a few minutes here. Let's see how many likes we got. I gave you lots of time to hit that like button. Let's see here. Where? All right, we get 7 stocks today. So the first 7 stocks come across that comment section are the first 7 we're going to break down. Let's see. And give us some fish. We hungry. We want to eat too. Give us the good fish. Don't give me no crappy fish. No one wants your crappy fish today. It's a holiday week. We got bills. Oh, iron. There's a fish. I don't want to look at iron. All right, hold up. Let's see here. Make sure I didn't skip any. We got Annette, Iron, Rocket Lab, Katos, Fresh, Data Vault, RWD. Hey, these are good fish. I'm not going to lie. I can already tell you these names. And the ones I didn't get, some good fish on that list too. We'll see what happens here. Look, most of them are up today. The one that's down, Data Vault at 246, down 3%. Had a big update Friday. You can see Iron up 14%. I really like Iron. Let's go ahead and look at the graphs here. Ironwood Pharmaceuticals, value keeps rising. Price keeps rising. This is beautiful. Look at the strong buy rating. We have not a hold in the last few months. Nothing but buy rating. Phenomenal price action and forecasted earnings per share on the rise. Growth rate 35%. Great stock here. I will say, just curious, where does this line bring us back here? Yeah, we're just sitting at some resistance. Hopefully, just waiting for the technicals. Let them take a breather. But if we break above this, and I'll really put like a zone in here, especially above, we'll say $4. If you see this thing go above $4. This sucker might just run. Because our valuation is over 4. Look where it came from. So if it did run, I look around 550. Look around 550 on that one. You might just get a big upper wick that day. I will not be surprised. That's actually not a bad. Whoever gave us that one, who gave us that one? It's a good stock. All right, Roy. Appreciate that one. No. Which one was that? IRWD. Furby gave me that one. Nice. AVL was not at the front. You need to scroll up. Because after I agree with Bills when I made that statement, as ANET was the first one. Trust me, I scroll up. I try to be fair to everybody. But this one, if we break above that 4 again, look for that 550. That might just be a nice little swing trade setup. And honestly, what do you see here? I see a cup, right? You see a cup coming? Looks like a cup, right? We'll see what happens. If you don't know what a cup and handle formation is, I'd probably Google that, watch a video or 2 on it. We might have it on VectorVest. We'll probably have one, but I don't think the title will say cup and handle. Maybe an old Bitcoin video will say cup and handle on the VectorVest channel, because I did a couple of those back with Bitcoin. was in like the 60s. Ryan, what is your best stock to rebound? Well, Akshay, I put my money in DataVault. I did that on the live stream. Was that 2 Wednesdays ago? Around, it was like $1.58 is my price. I didn't back up the truck. I just bought a little bit. But here, that's a good stock. I like that. All right, here's ANET. It did fill the gap. That's about all I've seen it's got going for it right now, is that it just did a gap fill. It's still got a sell recommendation. RT still below 1. Catching a falling knife, but that would be, from a technical perspective, that would be my bullish thing in the short term here. Be careful in ANET. It's overvalued, right? This one I like because it's undervalued and it's chasing value. And it's putting pressure on the top end, right? This is putting pressure on the bottom end. So it's a little bit different. Here's Iron. Ooh, right in my little channel here. You can see it catching. It's at 48 now. If you really look for some confirmation and make sure it's not a bull trap, you can put in 50. Look at the value. I talked about this. If it broke below this, I'm looking at 30. Because if I get value up close to 30 and price action at 30, man, that would be just a steal on Iron. And yeah, I kicked myself too for not buying it back when it was around $20 when I did the video on it. That's beautiful. Beautiful chart. We all know, well, if you don't know, it's all about the data center stuff. Let's see here. Earnings per share is rising. Growth rate, 39%. But again, you're just catching a falling knife right now. RT's at 0.89. If we can get above this 49, we'll call it $50 level. It says 49.7. And if RT can get back above 1, that would definitely be the safer route rather than just trying to catch it in this zone here between 43 and 49. If we break 43 again, just be careful because I think 30 might be on the horizon. Not saying that I will. Here's Kato's. Ooh, ever since it broke this ascending trend line, it's been hard. We just went from a sell to a hold. So if you are doing some bottom fishing on it, hey, from a technical perspective, I got it. But from a value perspective, be careful. We only value the stock at $18.91. It's got rising earnings and it's got decent earnings growth rate. I'm not going to complain about that, but ever since it broke its ascending channel, just be careful. And I want to see that value tick up some more. Paying a premium. Freshworks here, overvalued. Look, price action came all the way down, became undervalued here. And look, value just rising and rising and rising. Not a bad stock. It's pretty cheap too. $12.23, rising earnings per share. Even though the growth rate is dropping, it's still 28%. It's not bad. Not half bad. Here's DataVault. So I will tell you right now what my concern is for DataVault. And if you are at least somewhat of a chart reader, you probably already see it. What is my concern about DataVault right now? I hold DataVault. I own some DataVault. I bought a little bit of it. I got it, I think it was 158, if my memory is correct. 2 AMA shows ago. What do you see? What do you see? Akshaya, what do you mean by what was the name of your rebound stock video? What do you mean by that? Well, no one put it in there, but it looks like Head and Shoulders, right? It looks like Head and Shoulders, which is a trend reversal. You have an uptrend, right? Look, shoulder, head, shoulder, right? And look at the value. It is dropping. I did notice that, right? Valuation is falling. So, hey, look, you guys are, hey, I probably should have left off the value. But yes, glad you all noticed that. I'm glad you all noticed the value dropping. So right now, because value was at $1 and dropped to what, 54 cents. You know, trust me, I love the Bitcoin treasury. I love the tokenization. You know, I love that kind of stuff. But I'm going to trade the chart, not my heart, right? The chart's telling me, hey, Ryan, you got lucky down here at 155. It's at 250 now. And it didn't take long to get there, right? I think it was back here. Like, I think it was last Wednesday or Wednesday before. Might have been last Wednesday. That's my level of support. If it breaks 215, I'm probably going to be out of the position because this could easily turn into a little Head and Shoulders chart pattern here, right? Especially if this is a little fakey in the market still. Rocket Lab, sell rating, it's just overvalued. Clearly I got some lines there. Let's just get rid of all these. Start fresh. Got too much. Look at what I don't like. Swing low. Look at this. Just that fact alone, right? Swing low, sell recommendation comes in. No. Overvalued. No. Growth rate 6%. No, I can't do it. Let's see here. You said you had a video of stocks to rebound. I've done a couple of videos in regards to that, but I will say as far as Red Solo Cup. But in regards to that, tonight's video, we're going to take a look at some tech stocks, and they're all going to be undervalued. And there's going to be some very popular stocks on there as well. Rocket Lab is dropping because peeps are freaking out over the Neutron rocket delay. I'm not going to say I know what that is, Pennywise, but if you're holding it, that's what it is. You got to keep your news, especially on these type of stocks. Very news driven. You can see it's news driven, just the fact that it's trading so far above our valuation, investors are willing to pay premium for it. So I'll put it like this. Right here, this would be my support level, and we're catching it, right? Because that was where the break was, retested it. But if it breaks this one here, I'll treat it like a zone. I'll say 37.76, especially if you're playing this pivot, right? If we're playing the pivot, that's the pivot. So I don't want it to break the pivot, because if it breaks the pivot, then your trade's not working, right? But that would be it on that one. All right, let's check out this real quick, because again, I'm not going to show you the market timing graph, but this would be my one warning this week. Look at it. We're going right up to this trend line here. Tomorrow is the inflation data, right? So just be careful, stay disciplined in case we get more rejection here. This is looking at the Qs, by the way. But with RT relative timing, staying above 1 actually does give me some optimism. That's why I want to see that green light in the color guard, hopefully on Wednesday, in that primary wave to be in the up situation at the end of today's trading. Will NVIDIA be a part of tonight's video? I think it is in the list. I'm almost positive it's in the list. The focus not necessarily be on NVIDIA, but it's going to be on the manufacturer. It's going to be on the fab side of things, not fabless. Well, I guess that's not true because NVIDIA is fabulous. I don't know if NVIDIA is going to be in the video yet. I don't know if it will. We'll find out. I know Micron's in the list. I know Micron is. All right. On that note, we got to get out of here. We're wrapping up. Wednesday, Joey, if I remember correctly, Wednesday we do not have a stream, correct? AMA.
Does the market close early? I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Then maybe it was Friday.
I think the market's closed.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we should have a stream Wednesday then. All right. Perfect. All right, everybody. Enjoy your Monday. Good luck trading to you, and check out tonight's 6 p.m. video. Take care.